Are we live? I think, okay, we're live. We are live. Okay, give me 2 seconds. This is the Fast Track FBA VA Academy, Fast Track FBA weekly call just to help you guys out in your business. If you've got any questions at all, do drop them in the comments or just let me know you're here. Drop a hi. I'd love to know. I'm just going to quickly check that we are actually live. I'll also give you a bit of an update on my business and how we're getting on. So lots going on. Yeah, I can see we're live there. That's fantastic. And then let me just check on YouTube to see if we're live there. So if you are joining, do drop questions in, obviously down below, and obviously I can answer any of those questions. So I'm just going to quickly check we're actually live on the YouTube as well. And then obviously good. So we'll kind of go through any questions. So are we live? Yeah, we are live. Fantastic. Cool. So how are you getting on? How's everyone's Q4 going at the moment? If you want to know, I will just share mine. It's been steady. Black Friday was okay. It wasn't amazing. But revenue for, I'm watching this because revenue for the last 12 months, we're like I'll see if I put there, 1.95 million. I don't know if you can get that. I'm like, oh, it's going crazy. And they go 1.95 million. So it's like really, really excited. But revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and obviously profit is what we need to make. So if you guys are here, do just say hi. Harminder has mentioned afternoon, Tom, afternoon. And obviously you're in the UK, I believe. So I'm looking forward to coming back to the UK on Wednesday. I fly back. Obviously looking forward to the new COVID, and obviously need to get ready for that. So that's a nightmare, but it's okay. Obviously we've got to do what we got to do. So if you are joining, just drop me a hi down below. And if you've got questions, I'm here to answer questions. Like I can sit here and talk to you about my business, but I'm really here to help you guys. And the whole point behind doing it live is so that I can help facilitate questions and support you in your businesses. If you want a little bit of an update on my business, Saj, is that right? Saj, hi Tom, good to see you. Any questions, let me know down in the comments. Nada has written hi as well. Great. Any questions, anything I can help you with, let me know in the comments. I promise you I'll answer them. This is all about you. If you want to know my business, last week we had a Black Friday. Sales weren't that great. I'll see if I can show a graph. So if you kind of want to know, so 30-day sales graph, you can kind of see there. You can see, like, obviously this is like today, the beginning of the month and the end of the month, a little peak, that's it, nothing special. And actually we did way better at the beginning of the month. Black Friday, we did a total of about 12K in sales, which is all right, but it wasn't like as big as everything else. And the interesting thing was that it hasn't kind of gone up yet, if that makes sense. And I'd like to think we're on a range of buy boxes and a range of products. We have nearly 1,000 products right now in Amazon, or 1,000 SKUs. So we probably see the increase, but it just wasn't as big as I thought. So hoping that it will pick up afterwards, but Black Friday wasn't as big. So let's jump into some questions. Yvette has come in. Hi, Tom. I hope all is well. Just wondering if you have any tips for optimizing your USA listing compared to UK. Thank you. Oh, interesting. I don't really do I'll be honest with you, I don't really do listing optimization. We're really bad at it. It's a plan we're going to do next year. But I think the real question I would ask for you is the only thing I can really think in direct answer to your question about versus UK and USA is just look at like use of language. The only thing could just be the language, the choice of words. Obviously, we spell things differently in the UK and the USA, but also using more terms which are more relevant, if that makes sense, to the US, like the way they talk. I hate to say it, elevator, escalator, or like maybe the way people talk in the US is very slightly different to the UK. So that could be a good answer. But outside of that, like I don't think there'd be too big a difference, if anything. And I'd be interested to see if you'd actually see a big impact. That's it, really. Sorry, I don't think, is there anything in particular you're looking for? That's the only thing I can say. Top tips. So thank you for joining and thank you for asking. Dan has asked, lots of price alerts resulting in inactive, even when price is lower than existing listings and lower than how do you fix? The way we kind of do it is by flagging. If you're constantly getting it, just raise a case with Amazon Seller Central. I know it's super annoying. And ask them to look into it. Sometimes we've had a few of them, but we do kind of go into the price alerts and say, hey, we're constantly getting this, what's going on? And normally they'll come back and fix it, but it's like a manual one, because obviously the whole of Amazon is just one automated machine. As a result, you're getting inactive and they're going. But I think for you, if it's like a product you're always selling, definitely do that, chase it up and go for that. So But that's it really. Other than that, it's just because it's an automated machine. They're going inactive. It's frustrating, I know, but you've got to keep on it. Maybe it might be the case that you're looking at twice a day doing your fixed price alerts. It takes 15 minutes. So I do it, come back an hour later, see what happens. If it's still there, then flag it as raise a case. It's admin. I hate to say it. And the more SKUs you got, the more problems you have. So that makes sense. Thanks for joining, by the way, Dan, and asking the question. Anything else, let me know down below. Walid, I think that's correct. Sorry. Hi there. I hope you're doing well. Is it possible that Amazon take back a Marquee authorization after approving it without a reason as authorized? Yeah, so long story short, it's not so much they're taking it back. Once you're approved to sell, you're approved to sell. But what does happen is Amazon does regate brands, or they change things. So it could be the case that you're like gated in, you were JBL wasn't gated, but it was in toys and games, and maybe you were gated in JBL and it's electronics, for example, and it could be that you got ungated in JBL, but now they've gated electronics, so then you got to get ungated in that. I'm guessing if you got authorization for the first time with an invoice, just reuse it and you should be fine. Sometimes it does. Top tip for you as well, what you want to look at is when you go to sell, should we say, have a look to see what it says. It will tell you like you're getting this brand, you're getting this category, or it'll say this has listing something else. If it says like, if it doesn't mention brand or category, then it means that ASIN's been gated. There's not very much you can do, unfortunately. So sometimes that happens where they gate one ASIN and you're like, sorry. Maybe it's like for like high returns, complaints, fakes or something. So just be mindful. I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments down below. You bet. That's helpful. Thank you very much. Cool. Glad I could help. Okay, so are you finding that Boots are not issuing invoices when requesting them? I don't know the answer. And the reason why I don't know the answer is because Boots we don't ever order from, because they are like, it's a really big waste of time. I say that because yes, you can get good deals, but a lot of the time they cancel orders. They cancel orders, and also as well, you can't order big volumes, so it doesn't really work out. So we just don't order them. Couple of top things for you to think about. Number one, if you're trying to get invoices for, should we say, like IP complaint issues, yes, you're struggling because you need them from Boots. But number two is if you're trying to get invoices for VAT purposes, speak to your accountant. I'm not an expert, but you might be okay with, like we say, like a delivery note and going online and proving they got a VAT number and writing that on the VAT number. The reason is, and also you've got emails to say you've tried, or correspondence to say you've tried to get them, but they've refused. So if you ever get audited, you can prove they're VAT registered, you can prove you've paid the money, and you prove that you tried to get it. And there's within reason that you can, you've paid VAT on it. Like it's very, very normal. So again, check with your accountant, but you might be okay that way. And also because you're probably buying low value, it's not really a big issue. But if it's for like IP complaints, you're going to struggle because if they don't give you an invoice, you just struggle. So it does happen. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it's helpful down below. So Dan Smith, seller help just keeps giving uncanned helpful answers. Agreed. You are right, and I hate to say it, you're right. Like it might be the case that you delete the listing, let it go stranded inventory, add it back in again, try again. You are so right, and there's a problem about Amazon. Like it's a big beast, but they do get really unhelpful answers. So if I knew the answer, I could tell you. The only thing which I could say is obviously, put the price down super low, but obviously that's not what you want, even if you're lower than the competition. Like everyone's selling at 12, you put it at 11.50, but then you can only get it normal if it goes down to 5. I think you just got to keep raising cases. That's the only thing I can say. And then they come back and say, actually, we've done what you've asked. You just got to go with the system. It's a pain. Dan, I feel for you, and I really understand. And this is why I have admin VAs, because they do it all, and the fact that they have to go through that process, which is super unhelpful. So I'm sorry. And if anyone wants to know, that was about price alerts. Dan asked about price alerts before. So inactive and how Amazon is super unhelpful. So I hope, Dan, you're right. And so you're really right. And I can't, I feel your pain, and unfortunately, I don't have the answer. That makes sense. So thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dan. So Facebook user, hey Facebook user, I hope you're well. Nothing in particular to ask, just keeping up with you and your progress in the US. I haven't been as active on Amazon as I was back in the early part of the year, just focusing on my property stuff at the moment. Cool. Amazon USA, oh my God, I don't know. I need to ask the question. we are, one second, let me do this. Hey, can you send me a graph for USA, please? So great question. I need to ask my ops manager to send me a graph for Amazon USA because I don't have Amazon USA on my phone. I try and keep them separate. They're separate accounts, so I'm not logging in. But Amazon USA, if you want to know, and I will quickly just look, do a quick update because hey, I like to know. I have had an update, so I know revenue for last week, but I think we're about 62,000 for the month to date. So month to date, about 62,000, I think it is. I'm just checking now. Month to date, what are we saying here? Wait for a second. Right now, as of right now, live, 63,600, which is great. Like I'm super happy with the team. We're averaging about 2,000 a day in revenue. The last few days have really dropped off, but profit on that, I won't say exact profit, but I'm really happy with it. We're going to be making, good money, and it's another whole business. So maybe we've got a goal this year to 150,000 over Q3. We'll see how it goes, but I'm really happy with the USA. If you want to know, we had fraud. We had £10,000, or I think it was about £10,000 or dollars, sorry, of fraud, used on a card fraudulently. We got all of it back, everything. And by the way, it's a debit card, not a credit card. That was something really interesting today. We got the last amount back, so really happy with that. And what else? We had issues with stock control, i.e. stock coming out of the warehouse, but that's now been resolved and that's really pumped up. So I'm really happy and the team are really good. We're doing 70,000, nearly 70,000 a month on 2 sources, 1 purchasing manager, 1 admin VA, which is really nice. So I'm really, really happy about that. So Amazon USA doing really well. Thank you very much. If there's anything you want to know about that, just ask me down in the comments. So I've got a couple of questions or things, super helpful. Thank you. And Dan Smith says, got it. Guys, if you've got any questions or you're just joining, drop me down comments down below. Obviously, I can talk about my business, but I am here to help. I do these live calls to help you rather than me just talk about my business. So if you've got questions, please drop it down below. So one second, let me just say, if you have questions, please comment and I will answer. That helps. I can't actually spell. So the question, so for me is like, if you want to kind of update, so Amazon USA is super helpful or super good. We're really happy with the revenue. We're happy with the team. We're developing that. And also if you want to know kind of wise as well, where we're going in the UK, we're on 1.9 million for the last 12 months. So at the rate we're growing, we'll hit 2 million over a rolling 12-month period. Hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll be really happy with that. That's £2 million in sales. And we're also now looking into 2022, which is about moving into some wholesale side in the UK. So we're working on that at the moment. So that's that. So let me just come through here. Oh, and we're doing insurance, sorting out the insurance in the USA as well. So Facebook user says we're over 20,000 a month. Fantastic. Hey, really, really well done. And still thinking if 10,000 is enough to start USA account or not. Top tip for you, and I said this to other people, like, look, if you're going to move from one market to the other, 2 things you need to really consider: cash and time. And I'd probably say time's a really important one. So the reason is when we moved from the UK to the US, I was doing my UK in like 2 hours a week. So it was completely running by itself. It was growing. I was very, very happy with it. We were doing probably like 35,000, I think it was, when we started that conversation. And by the time we actually got selling our first sale, we were probably doing, I think it was like May. Don't quote me. I think it was May. And May in our business, we're probably on like 70,000 by that point. So the reason why I say that is you need to have time, because things are going to go wrong when you first start. You're going to have to do lots of stuff. So if you're busy focusing on the other business, you don't have time for the Amazon USA business, the new one, it's going to be a nightmare. Give me 2 seconds. I just want to shut the window because there's a lot of noise. I can't talk. Someone's doing some digging. There we go. So the Amazon USA business takes a lot of time and a lot of problems happen. And as a result, just freeing up your space in the UK is going to be super, super important. I'm going to show you that window as well. So that's going to be super important. So time is really important. Then money. Now, the other interesting thing is if you put 10,000 in now, you've got to like set up an account, buy software, hire staff, for example. That all eats into that 10,000. Whereas in your UK business, you've already got that. You're already paying for that. So when you add 10,000 to your UK business, a higher proportion of it will go towards generating revenue rather than just covering the costs. So, if you ask me, I think two things. I think you should be trying to look to make get. I would stick with the UK until you're making like your cost of living, probably double it. Let's say, for example, you're taking 2,000 out of the business a month, including cashback, or it includes the cashback in that. And then you want to be making another 2,000 on top. And the reason why I say that is because two things. If you're making 2,000 a month spare in the US and you have time, or in the UK, sorry, 2,000 a month extra cash in the US and you have time, that business is going to continue growing. And then also on top of that, if you're making so much money you can't do with it, you can always move that money into into US, and that will grow the US quicker. And if I put it in perspective, in our US company, we're making good 5 figures in the UK, and that means if we can't use it in the UK, which we can't because we've got so much money already, we can just move that over to the US. What does that mean? It means we can spin the US up a lot quicker. So just, I think, be really mindful of that. So I think my top tip, if you're doing like 20,000 now, keep going. Probably try and get yourself to 6 figures a month, or at least like 50, 60, 70K a month in the UK, and then move up to the US after that, again with time and money. I hope that makes sense. And it's a pretty long-winded answer, but that's my honest thing. Don't be a jack of all trades, to be a master of one. That's it. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below. Lou has mentioned, hi, I'd like to ask what categories are good to sell during the first quarter of the year for the USA. Ooh, don't really know. What would I say? The usual ones like health. Everyone does, like, I hate to say this, it's really bad. DIY, health, and personal care. Sports equipment, everyone really likes. That everyone's like get fit. What are the other ones? To be honest, I get what you're saying, like I really do. But look at the keeper chart. The keeper chart is going to tell you what really works. Those ones are like your top things to sell in like DIY, and everyone's like get fit gym. You could obviously got seasonal things like Valentine's Day coming up. That's another one. But I'd look at the keeper chart, look at the data. Because the reason why I say that is because while you might be looking at, let's call it DIY or health or like gym or sports equipment, what you might find is actually you're going to find some amazing products in toys and games that just sell really well, or you can find great deals, because you can find great deals in bad categories. That does exist. So using the keeper, I think that's going to be really important. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that answers your question. Let me know if there's anything else in the comments down below. So Nadia has said 1 million OA only or wholesale as well. Well, if I kind of tell you projections, so UK, we're doing, we'll finish the year out easy £2 million in OA in UK. Next year, we'd like to try and use the first quarter to get going in wholesale. And if we can, try and do 1 million in wholesale by the end of the year. That would be amazing. Like, I'll cross my fingers. If we can do 500,000, I'd be happy as well. But just want to get the process going. So that's in addition to it. I think we've put revenue targets for next year of probably like 3 million for OA plus another 1 million for wholesale. So that's 4 million, which would be quite nice. So that's the UK business, and we're building the team out already, and we're going through product, or should we say we're going through development right now about how to approach wholesale and what we're doing. And we've got the staff in training, and also the purchasing managers already in training. No, purchasing managers already trained, going to move over, but now training about the wholesale model. Then in the USA, what's the plan? Well, right now we're looking to 150,000 this month or this quarter. The aim is to go to 1 million OA revenue all next year. So try and hit 7 figures in our first full year, like first full calendar year, not 365 days. And then finally, we'd like to also as well get started in wholesale in the USA. What that looks like, maybe like 200,000, I'd be happy, but I don't know. Again, the biggest problem in this business is money. If you've got money, my God, anyone can do £1 million in sales if you've got 20 billion to start with. That's easy. But we're starting to hit the edge of our capital. Even with big loans, it's starting to cause a problem. So yes, 1 million in the USA, 3 million OA in the UK, plus wholesale on top of that. That's the goal. And the reason is power of teams and utilizing cash and investing in resources. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below. Guys, if you've got questions, please let me know. I'll talk about a couple of things which is going on in my business. So we're getting a new Amazon admin VA. It's super important. We've got a lot of work. If you want to know, in the UK, we use Xero and Link My Books for accounting. So it does all the accounting. And then in the USA, we've now signed up with the new accountants, and we are using QuickBooks and A2X. And we're going to be doing that just to help us out and to make sure that we get the accounts. And the reason why I say that is because I use like Seller Toolkit. You can use like Seller Board, for example. Amazing bits of software. Absolutely love them. Couldn't run my business without them, 100%. But I'm not saying I don't trust them. I do trust them, but I understand the way accounting works, and that you can't do like your VAT returns on them. They're very good for awareness, and the way they work is that they take your opening stock and then minus off what you sold, and then assume you've got everything left. But unfortunately, that isn't the way Amazon works. Stock gets lost, goes missing, etc., and you need to account for that. So that's what you do with like opening and closing stocks and cost of goods actually used true usage with your accounting software, and that will give you a real true P&L. So we use that figure for our accounts as opposed to STK. STK is great, and I think it's really good to get started, but we will use it. So hope that makes sense. So let's kind of jump through some couple of questions. Kimley Lee, I think that's right. Any tips on starting out on Amazon Wholesale USA? Look, I'm going to be honest. I am not the wholesale expert. I have met Amazon Lit. These guys are doing 50 million. Absolutely amazing. Do check them out. They share a lot of content on YouTube. Watch Me Amazon is also someone. Larry, I speak to him sometimes. Really interested in what he's doing. Obviously, he's doing really well. He's got multiple accounts. Amazon Lit have one account. Amazon Wholesale, Larry Lebowski has multiple accounts. They're the experts in Wholesale USA, and if I'm going to put it out there, I'd say do that. I did an interview very recently with a guy called Todd. Look at YouTube's, just do my videos, go scroll down. It'll be like 4 million in Wholesale, I think that's the title name. Check out him. He gives like 3 top tips, and I will not lie, it's a really good video, and it's just really simple, actionable tips to help you get started in wholesale. And I say that because he's a really good guy to follow as well. Very genuine. I met him in his warehouse, and like a really good interviewer. That's down in Florida. So his name is, oh my God, Todd. I've forgotten his Todd Welch, and he runs a site called like Amazon Entrepreneur, I think it is, or Entrepreneur Ventures or something. Really good, and watch that video because he just shares some things I really liked it, and I think so much there. So top tips is like build relationships. It takes time, and I don't know, there was one more. Watch the video, you'll see it. So that would probably be my top tips. And the reason I say that rather than trying to give you them now is that it does take time. This is a slow game. But the idea is it's not where you are today, this week, this month. It's about where you'll be in a year, 2 years' time. That's the important thing. So I do follow these guys. I do listen to them. I do see what they say, and I'm learning from them as well. But what I'll do is I'll start to release some content when I learn about that as well, and what I'm learning. So it should be really exciting. Hope that makes sense. Let me know down below. Tom has come in and said, how can you trust a VA, such as a purchasing manager, to use your high limit credit cards? I'm going to scare you, Tom. I'm really going to scare you. Last week, my team broke a record. They spent £88,000 US dollars. I don't know, 110,000 US dollars in 1 week. 1 week. 2 of my guys spent £88,000. Like, buy a house in the UK for that and what they spent in a week. So really good question. Really good question. There's a lot about VAs. So specifically around purchasing people. So first question needs to be is like, how can you overcome that barrier in your head? So the question which I'd ask is, think about 5 years in the future. Are you still going to be the one buying all the stock that you're finding now? And the answer would probably hopefully no. Well, if that's no, then the first thing you already understand is that at some point between now and 5 years in the future, you're going to have to relinquish control. So once you've overcome that mental barrier, the next question comes is, okay, so I'm going to get someone else to do it. So if I'm going to get someone else to do it, how can I do it whereby we would minimize the risk? And that's it. It's always risk. There's always risk. So a couple of things. Number one is, while they have access to the credit cards, we have, every time a purchase is made, it's tracked, it's recorded. And also we have another person who checks that purchase versus what we've actually purchased. Obviously, you're looking for anomalies like they normally buy from, should we say, Walmart, and then today they go and buy from Masada.ph. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? That's a worry. So you have checks in place. So checks to make sure it's actually happening and you're doing your accounting very well and you have efficient processes. And then the next one is to say that, well, once you've got the checks in place, that's cool. Also, as well, you have clear guidelines on what can and can't happen and the consequences for breaching it. So cash handling policies. And then finally, after that, is like that's just the kind of normal control. So they're called the fallbacks. That's when things go wrong, or you're reducing the risk of it, or you're making it very clear when things are wrong. What you really want is you want your purchasing manager not to be like, oh, well, if I do this, I'm going to get fired. You really want your purchasing manager to be like, I will never do this because I love what I do and it's amazing and I will never change it. So that's about creating a culture. That's about investing in people. That's about also aligning recognition, incentives, and rewards with your purchasing manager so that they're encouraged not to do anything and actually encouraged to do the other way, i.e. protect the card, make sure they're doing good purchases. So what do I mean by that? Well, our purchasing VAs, our purchasing managers, their bonuses are based off net profits as a company. So if they go and spend £10,000 on the card and we lose £10,000, they're going to lose their bonuses, and actually they're going to work together. There's two of them we've got. So if there's a worry, then we'd kind of spot that, and they're going to lose out. But on the other hand, if they do a really good job, then they're going to be getting good bonuses. And I mean, they get some really good bonuses. And as a result, they're incentivized not to go steal the money or buy bad products. So that's it. It's really about building culture, about people, and then having the fallback thereafter. But really, it's about just create a great environment whereby you align incentives and you align incentives and make it so people don't want to do it. It can happen, so it does happen. So I hope that makes sense, Tom. Let me know in the comments down below. Nadia said, thank you. Kim Lay said, thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for asking the question, by the way, guys. Really good of you. SEO Daddy has said, as mentioned before, I only do wholesale, but I'm always surprised people make money with OA after Amazon fees. Do you have a ceiling on item values, bearing in mind returns? Okay, so let's give you some stats. Because everyone likes stats. Okay, so I've got my US, you're in the UK, so I'll load up I'm not going to share my screen, but I will talk to you about what the numbers are. So let's just take the last 30 days. So if I kind of just share for you, last 30 days, we've done £270,000 in sales. We're about 2.95% refunds, which is probably on the high side. A lot of people are a bit lower. We're 2.95, so about 3% of our products are refunded. Refunds are always going to happen. The one thing you've got to realize is it isn't like 3% of your products are refunded. That's it, you've lost the money. Not at all, because probably like 60% of those items are then refurbished through Amazon and put back into sale because they're still brand new. So you only lose call it out of 3%, I might lose 1%, if that makes sense. And that goes to they have to be returned. It's unfillable. Now the next question you're kind of asking is about ceiling on the value. So let's just do it this way, on £270,000 worth of sales, I sold 10,336 items. That means my average sale cost or price is about £26. So £26 gives you an idea of thing. Do we have a ceiling? No. I think if you go spend £400 on something, fine, but just make sure that it's a really good buy and you're not going to get shafted. But generally, we probably don't really buy stuff below £10 because we want to resell for double, and below £10 you're not reselling high enough. But don't get me wrong, Luke Dugan, Mr. FBA UK, he does a lot of that. He'll buy OA and he'll sell for under £10. So that happens. But here's the thing you've got to think about. Even if you're buying something for £10 and you're selling it, and you're making let's call it 50p, really bad. You're making half, very little profit off it, 5%, but you're making 50p. If it's just click a button, buy 1,000 of them, ship them in, and over the next month they all sell off, and it's simple and that's easy. Yeah, you're not making much money per product, and your overall margins will be low, but revenue per hour worked or profit per hour worked would be if you've got the cash to burn and you could do it, or just invest, fine. There are so many different ways to do this model, and it's about you and what you want. And some people will take a very I'd never go below 30% ROI, which is fine, but they have to do a lot more work for it. But you can actually, if you've got spare cash, you're not using it, even just getting like 5% ROI isn't much, but you can still make money if you do enough volume. So it does work, it does happen, and even after Amazon fees, obviously all our calculations have that in as well. So that's the kind of thought. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, SEO Daddy. Let me know in the comments down below. So Facebook user, what state would you recommend opening an LLC in for the USA for OA? Do you know what's really interesting? I'm not an expert on this, I'm really not. We have Delaware, you could do Wyoming there, the other one. The other interesting one, which I've kind of realized, and again, I'm not 100% sure, is everyone talks about going to a tax-free state. I get that, but what you need to be mindful of is the fact that just look at the way it works. So we use a tax-free prep center. So when we order stuff into our state, into that prep center, it's zero tax, zero sales tax. But I don't know how it works if you're like, if your business is open in like Florida, for example, it might be 7%. I don't know if it is. But the idea is if you make a sale on Amazon to, let's call it California, then I don't think you add the sales tax would happen in California or whatever that is, and Amazon deals with that. But you're only taxed on your corporation or sales tax, and the way that works. So, for me, I don't know the answer. I think there's a whole another element you could look at and have the conversation. Like, my whole idea, Delaware and Wyoming was because they were tax-free states. That was why I went for it. But now understanding that it isn't about where your business is located, it's about where you ship to. So OA, by the way, not wholesale. Well, I'm shipping my items when I buy from wherever I buy them from to New Hampshire, which is tax-free again, and I'm not paying sales tax. So I question the logic of whether you really need to create in Delaware or Wyoming, but a lot of people do. So again, don't reinvent the wheel, keep it simple. I hope that makes sense. But that's what I recommend. Yeah, so LLC, nice and simple. There's loads of formation agents. Have a look at them. Let me know, Facebook user, in the comments if that was helpful, or if there's anything else. So guys, if you've got questions, let me know in the comments. Obviously, I'm here. I've got about another 27 minutes to help you. Or to get some coffee as well. So Kim Lay says, any thoughts about buying, selling NFT market right now? Look, it's not my place to talk about NFTs, and like I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't sell, I don't buy, I don't trade in them. I think that I've kind of expressed this before. Two things. Number one, I don't see the value in a lot of the NFTs myself. I'm not saying there isn't. I see the value when there's an NFT and Gary Vee selling it, and you get to go bowling with Gary Vee once a year as part of the NFT. That I see, not a problem. I don't see the value in buying like an NFT of a picture of like a dog, for example, and I don't understand that. I understand the value in NFTs themselves and what they offer and their ability to physically buy or virtually buy something and have ownership of it. That I get, but I don't see the value in buying a dog picture. That I don't see. And for me personally, I think it looks like should we say the greater fool theory, if that makes sense. You're buying something so that hope you can flip it and trade it to someone else higher. And I'm like, but I don't see the value of why you would do that. And again, I'm not researched into it, I don't know. The other side is to say, well, again, pick your battles. NFTs are cool, and obviously there are people making really good money, and I don't deny that, they really do. My question is how long can I sustain that? What happens? And I sense here is, for me, I want to build a business whereby in 5 years' time, it's still trading, and there's a team doing it, and I have a constant, consistent income. A lot of the things people talk about is money in the bank is okay, but cash flow is much better. I'd much rather have cash flow than cash. So building a business which generates cash flow through trade, I really like. And when you outsource it with a team, I like that even more. So that's my thoughts. It's not perfect, but that's my thing. And yeah, there's going to be lots of golden opportunities. And it's not to say you can't make money from NFT. Lots of people are, but personally, for me, no, not at all. So great question though, and I won't go too much into it. So you mentioned you experienced card. This is not personal. Can you explain? You experienced card fraud. Yeah, card fraud. Sorry, you put it on here, card fraud. Yeah, so long story short, obviously the very nature of what we do online arbitrage, we're buying stuff online and reselling, but the very nature of online is you might accidentally use a site which might not have the best security or might even be fraudulent in itself. And once they get your card details, bang, people start buying stuff. So we had $10,000 worth of fraud come through. Now, long story short is the moment we detected it, we cancelled the card. Number two is we spoke to the card issuer, but it's a debit card, a business debit card, not a business credit. We use Mercury in the US. That's who we use. They said we needed to speak to all the suppliers, so we basically reached out to every single one of the suppliers. It was probably like, I think it was like 11 transactions or something, maybe a bit more, 15 maybe, where it was fraud up to 10,000 US. And as a result, we contacted them, we let them all know. And what was really good was Mercury basically said, a couple of ones like they refunded, whereby we had given an email to the supplier to tell them about the fraud. Mercury actually credited our account back, so they loaned us the money back until the money came back in again, which was really good. And actually they were really, really good. And for a business debit card, I was very impressed. I was expecting them to be like, your fault, nothing. They weren't. They were really cooperative and they really worked with us and helped us out. And there's a lot of emails back and forth between my team and Mercury to help support that. So long story short, we use a debit card, and the reasons we don't have credit cards in the US right now, we will do, but also as well the fact that we had to work with our card holder, card provider, and they just helped us through the whole process, and we got all the money back, which is about 10,000, which I'm so happy with. $10,000 is a lot of cash. It'd be a nice holiday. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if there's anything, questions down below. And also we've improved our cash handling massively, and that's around prevention, identification, minimization, and resolution thereafter. We have a whole kind of step process that we go through fraud, and we've got a cash handling policy for it. We're in the process of creating a video for it right now, so it will be shared. So we'll kind of share that with you and what you can learn from our experience. But yeah, very interesting. So House of Paradise. Hi Thomas, struggling with getting the buy box with up to 600 SKUs. What is your buy box percentage target with your 700 SKUs? Great buy box video. Cool, thank you. Top tip for you is it changes. Would be anywhere between about probably the low end 7% up to about 25. What you got to realize is that your 600, 700 SKUs is a lot. What you got to really think about is it all depends about how aggressive you are on your repricer. If you're super aggressive, you're going to get the buy box, of course. Like if you go, I'll reprice down to 1p minimum, not 1p profit, but 1p sales price, then match buy box whatever 1p minimum. Yeah, that buy box price is going to go up, not a problem. Your percentage is going to go really high. Does that mean you're going to be making money? Does it mean that it's going to be good for your business? No, not at all. But you will hit that buy box percentage. I think for you, the question is I probably wouldn't track. We do track buy box percentage. I won't deny that. We do track it, but we don't try and influence it. We see it as an indicator of what's going on in the wider business. And what we do track is revenue and then profitability and ROI on that revenue. So when we see sales slow, we'll keep an eye on what the buy box is showing, and then we'll be like, okay, fine, buy box has gone down, but it might be the case that actually revenue's gone down, but profitability's gone up. And at the end of the day, if you go and put all your repricer, match buy box, whatever, minimum price 1 pence, you're going to get a massively high buy box, but it doesn't mean you're going to make any money. So just be mindful. It's all about individuals, and for us, we have very kind of strategies we use, and I won't go into them because if you know who we are, then you'll know what strategies we use. But they're not particularly challenging. I think the idea for you is what do you want, and you've got to maintain that. And sometimes the market as a whole will just go down. We see the ROI across the board, and we see it has in the last probably 2 months has declined. So if your minimum ROI is higher, then you're not going to get as many buy boxes. But hopefully, and I say this, hold out, give it another week. Q4's coming. Q4's here. December's coming. Hopefully, product's going to get selling, and as a result, boom, and you'll be making good money as well. Trust me, it does get super busy at Christmas, so don't rush yet. Don't rush yet. Loving it. Hello, what kind of access to your Seller Central does your admin have? Everything. She'll do everything. She'll raise cases, speaks to customers, fixed price alerts, all that. She'll do everything. My ops managers even have access to add new users on my behalf, so they can do that as well. So that's it pretty much. I think, I assume you trust your admin VA. The next question is like, when you go through all the settings, ask yourself the question, why shouldn't they have this? Why shouldn't they have that? If you can't answer it for each one, they shouldn't have this because, then just give it to them. Less is, if they can have it, fantastic. I know it's about control, but you trust them. They're here to help your business, give them the access they need to make it happen. That's it. SEO Daddy, how did you start out? I'm guessing. Yeah, I can't even read. Oh my God, sorry. How did you start out looking for UK OA deals or USA UA deals? I'm interested in doing some. Are your leads guaranteed? Can you explain your service a little? Do you get ungating issues? I won't go too much into my service. So UK is probably the easiest one to start with because the US, we we had a lot of experience, but fundamentally, just go out and find deals, start sourcing, start looking for yourself manually. We do a lot of, playlists on videos about it, how to go find your deals manually. It does take time. I will not deny that. We also, Fast Track FBA have a leads service, Fast Track FBA/leads, UK and USA. And that's whereby all our leads are on our web platform and you can pick and choose the ones you want. They're not guaranteed because obviously we're in a market. So we can't guarantee you're going to be able to, if you say buy it, you're not even going to guarantee you can be able to sell it at the price we say. What we do is we just tell you where the market is now. And obviously you can choose that. Also, say for example, you unlock a deal when you go to the supplier and you can't buy it, you will get a refund from us. That's really simple. There's a very good process to do that. So the lead service is great. It allows you to pick and choose the deals that you want when you want them, which works really well. And then also as well, for us looking for, what I've got teams of VAs. We have like 58 VAs across 3 companies now. They will go out and find deals. And what they're doing is they are looking for the buy low, sell high. We teach them the same techniques, we share on the YouTube channel. And the net result is that they all find deals every single day and they're incentivized to find deals. And obviously they're rewarded as a percentage of the profits of those deals as well. So that's it. And, we really started the US out. The US started quite quickly. We did 3 VAs from the get-go. And then we got another VA in to be the purchasing manager and then an admin VA, and that was it. So, and now we're doing nearly 70K, we've done 63 so far this month in the US. So really, really happy with that. So that's how we started finding deals. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so Harminder's come in. After purchasing, how soon do you request a VAT receipt? The moment it's delivered. Once it's delivered, you can get, if you do it before that, I think because it hasn't been shipped yet, we can't confirm what you've actually done. So once it's delivered, you're fine. So I think my team do it like once a week, if that makes sense. And generally, not once a week, they'll like wait a week and then do it. So that generally works well. So cool. Hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below. So glad you got your money back. Yeah, no, me too. My God, I like 10 grand. Like I really, really do. So I'm super, super happy. Tom Oakes comes in. When were you offered your first Amazon loan? If you want to know, oh my God, I'm not logged in. I'll tell you a funny story. We got offered our first Amazon loan. I think it was in year 2. Don't quote me. And it was only like 5,000. And then we got 7,500. And then we got nothing for another year and a half. And then they came back in with 121,000, which was like, whoa, that's quite a big difference. So I don't think we took the 7.5. And then they just gave it a year and a half and they came back with a really, really big offer. So if you want to know, for me, I think 2 elements that really affect Amazon loans: revenue and cash in stock in Amazon. That will affect your Amazon loan. I've talked about that before. And if you want to know, ask me and I'll explain why. But that is it. How much stock value you've got holding and your revenue. That's an important one that I think 2 big metrics can make a difference. And I'll explain why if you want me to. Let me down in the comments. But Tom, let me know if that was useful. Guys, if you've got questions, please drop them down below. Obviously, I can talk about my own business, but I'd rather help you guys out. So Anthony has come in. How does one decide whether to use seller board, seller toolkit, and your ultimate sourcing sheet? Well, first things first, if you're wondering about the 3 of them, you're going to love this. I'm going to tell you, don't buy the ultimate sourcing sheet. I would probably recommend getting like seller board or seller toolkit first. The reason is they're profit software, so they're going to help you understand how much profit you're making per sale, per item, and they do a lot of other stuff. Like seller board has some really good like integration in regards to sending out messages, so you can get should we say you can get feedback test on your Amazon account, especially for seller. That's really good. Seller Toolkit has a lot of functionality. It's got a repricer. It also does a lot around what do you call it? Also as well, reclaiming stock, which I think is just, I'd pay for it for just that. It's a really good stock reclaiming software, let alone the profit and loss and cost of goods and stuff. And then the Ultimate Sourcing Sheet is kind of an add-on to them. It just helps improve your workflows, get you faster. But the Ultimate Sourcing Sheet at $497 is a lot more expensive than £30 a month for the other two. So I'd really get the other two first, make sure you're making profits. And then when you're doing enough volume, and I'd probably say over like 5K a month at least, you would be like, okay, maybe now I might look at the USS as an idea. So we're always developing it, we're always making it better. It just helps you improve your workflows and drives efficiency within your business and gives you insights into how you do your sales. But if I had to choose between Seller Board and Seller Toolkit, I use Seller Toolkit. That's what I use. I really like it. And if you are interested, do have a look at www.fasttrackfba/tools. Oh, I'll put it on just there, just tools, and I've got like a list of all the software that we use, and there's affiliate links for both of them too, and they give you like extended trials and money off, so do check that. Obviously I do get a small kickback, but I do actually use Seller Toolkit every single day. I've just looked at it 3 times during this call, and I use it a lot, so we use it for a basis of a lot of our work. So do check that out. I think that'll help you, and that's the decision we make. Let me know if that's helpful, Anthony, down below. So IL, at what IPI score do you start worrying? Below 500. Above 500 doesn't matter. Don't even worry. If you're above 500, doesn't mean anything else. Like you could be 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. It means nothing else other than a slightly bigger number. Then the next one I would talk about is just below 500. You're going to start getting issues around inventory storage limits. It's not the end of the world, but you probably want to try and keep above it. And the reason why I say keep above it, because it's about best practice, and there's probably something you're doing in your Amazon business which isn't great, and you could improve it. So it might not be bad, but obviously trying to run a good Amazon business is going to be helpful. So hopefully that's going to help you out. So yeah, over 500, that should be good. But yeah, let me know if that's helpful down below. Loving it's coming in. Have you had any issues with your cards purchasing in the USA stores? Any order cancellations? Yes, like so much, so many. It's been a big problem for a very long period of time, and still not a perfect one now, but we are resolving it. And not to like say that we don't get the problem, we just know who not to purchase from. So long story short is, what have we done? So the best way to put this is we're working very closely with the bank. We use Mercury. When orders get cancelled, i.e. like, also we work with suppliers. What are we trying to do? We're trying to ask suppliers why they're cancelling the orders. Like fraud, the business they don't know about, what's the reason, or maybe it didn't pass their fraud checks. We're trying to understand why. Different shipping and delivery address. Maybe the IP is a very long distance away from the actual shipping address or the billing address, for example. What else? There's lots of these little things, and we're trying to identify them and try and resolve them specifically. And then the other one is just some people just won't accept us. Like we order too much, the big problems, and we just say, look, or they keep canceling our orders. So we're like, we're just going to put you onto a list. We'll never order from you again. Thank you so much. Or like, we'll check it in 6 months' time. So yes, we do get those problems. Yes, it does happen. You've got to be asking questions. That's it. Finding out what's wrong and trying to solve the problem. That's all we do in business. We have a problem, we find out why, and then we fix it, or we work around it. We jump over. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we have a lot. And even in the UK now, if I put it in perspective, the Hut Group. If anyone works in the UK, the Hut Group, they do a lot. Like My Protein's one of them. They do a lot of products. But we're banned from the whole range of the Hut Group. Because we just can't get any orders through, and they've actually messaged us many times saying, no, we've cancelled your stuff, we know who you are, we're banning you, because we just spent too much money with them. They don't want to take our money, and they're not interested in resellers, which is a shame because there's a lot of good deals. So that's thoughts. Let me know if that's helpful down below. Loving it. Anthony said very helpful. Thank you. Cool. Okay, so guys, if you've got any questions, please drop them down below. Honestly, I'm here to help you. We've got about 10 more minutes to finish up. So obviously, I'm really happy to help you. So couple of things, if I kind of give you a bit more of an update on my business, what's going on. We're hiring an admin VA for the year. We're getting our 4th admin VA. I've got 3, I need 1 more. We're getting too busy. Also, I just mentioned we've got new accountants in the USA. We're moving we're moving from Xero to QuickBooks just because the USA generally uses that, and we're using A2X rather than Link My Books. Nothing wrong. It actually costs more money, but no issue. But it's just because of the way our accountants work. Our warehouse was shut for Thanksgiving. Outrageous, I know. People have holidays. Don't they know it's like Q4? No, I really understand. So that means we had like slow shipments coming out. Right now, our USA or UK business is absolutely smashing it with stock. And the other one which we're doing, which you might want to think about if people are worrying about Q4, is just go through your stocks. Have a look at like number one, are there items that you need to get sold before Christmas? And make a list of those ASINs and then just keep an eye on them. So once a week, plan in your calendar, check them. And then what do I say is that just make sure that you know when you want to start reducing the prices down to get them cleared. Why? Because you don't want those items in stock in January. And how can you identify them if you're not sure? Jump into the product, load up Keeper, load up the Keeper graph for 1 year, and then go back and look at January or this year. If the sales have dropped down after Christmas, it's probably an item you want to make sure you sell before Christmas. Don't be holding stock. That's going to be something there. I think that's pretty much about it. And the UK is fine. We're training up 2 more purchasing assistants, so I'll have 4 in that business now, because 1 will go over to something like 3 in the UK away, which I'm really grateful for. And 1 VA found £30,000 worth of deals last week. New company record. Very, very happy, which is incredible. 30 grand in one week, and we spent 30 grand on deals in 1 day on Black Friday. So very, very happy with that. So let me know how your Black Fridays are down below. How did you get on? SEO Daddy has come in. Certificates of conformity, starting to get some hassle with these. Are you finding the same in the USA? Not really. We haven't. I don't think we're very heavy on toys. I think we stay quite away. UK, let me put it in perspective. Categories wise, in the UK, toys and games isn't even in our top 10 categories. USA, I probably agree the same. We have like different metrics, but they are annoying. The one thing which I will say is, I think, don't quote me, is that someone on the listing needs to provide the certificate declaration of conformity, and that automatically removes it for everyone else on the listing. Don't quote me, I think that's correct. And as a result, if you just wait, a lot of the time they'll disappear. So we don't have huge numbers of them, but you are right, they are annoying. So either get them sold or try and get them. Google, work with suppliers, manufacturers, etc., etc. You can even be a bit cheeky and be like, hey, supplier, I want to buy this product, but before I buy it, I'd like to get the declaration of conformity. Thank you very much. Actually, we're not going to buy it now. So I've done that 1 or 2 times. I'm not saying do it all the time. You'll burn your bridges, but that is an option. But they're super annoying, and I really, really understand you, SEO Daddy. So IL has said, thanks for your help. No, thank you for joining. Thank you. Tomic said, when should you start taking money out of the business? Whenever you're ready. A couple of things that I just say very roughly. Most people don't take money out of their Amazon businesses first 12 to 18 months. And number 2 is, even in my business, I only take £766 out of the UK business every month, the minimum we can, and then obviously pay a dividend thereafter. The other one is, I think, personally, I think you shouldn't start taking, if you're going to take money out of the business, let's say, for example, tomorrow I want to take £1,000 out, well, I should be at least making double that money in profits. So I can only ever take a maximum of half of the profits out. Why? Because you still want the business to grow. If you're making £2,000 a month and you're taking £2,000 a month out, your business will never grow. And that's the problem. It's got to keep growing. So only take out half of the profits at a maximum. You've got to keep growing. Tom, I hope that's helpful. Let me know in the comments down below. IL, how come you haven't hired a VA to list on your items in Walmart? Looks like low-hanging fruit. You're right. And you could ask exactly the same question about why not do it in eBay. Joey Lister, for example, he could take all my products and list them on eBay and just do it. And the reason is I'm a really big believer in KISS, keep it simple. I'm a really big believer in just do one thing really, really well. And also as well, I look at these opportunities right now and I look at our model. So let's just say, for example, exactly what you're saying. Why don't you list these products in Walmart? Well, first of all, opening up a Walmart account isn't easy. Second of all, we do OA, so we don't have continuous supply. Our products will run out, but we know we're going to sell them in Amazon. So why do I need to increase the rate of sales and maybe even decrease the margin that we're getting by selling them elsewhere, and also increase the hassle. So that's another reason why I'm like, no, just keep it simple. If I have wholesale accounts and I've got a product that's selling really well, yeah, definitely I'll do Walmart. But right now, because we don't have supply, consistent supply, then there's no point trying to expand how quick I can sell it. All I'm doing is selling it. I'm just making more work for myself for probably very little extra money. And the other thing which I'll say, especially like if you're looking at eBay, i.e. like using Joey Lister to fulfill, is to say, well, actually, like when I talk to a lot of people, unless you're doing like, don't get me wrong, we're doing like 2 million a year in the UK. Unless you're doing big volumes, like just doing arbitrage, even up to like 500,000 a year selling on eBay, the people I talk to, I'm like, how much profit are you making? Like, we're making sales, but the profit is probably about the same, and it's sell eventually in the UK. So like, it's really not worth it. Like, unless it's really making you money, then it's just not worth it. And I'm a big believer in just keeping it simple. And I personally, I don't think right now we are in a position whereby selling on Walmart, selling on eBay is going to generate significantly more profit for the time and effort required than it is for us investing in the same VA and the same time in Amazon and growing that business. So pick your battles, and the battle that I'm picking is Amazon right now. And until we get into a different position, that won't change. I hope that makes sense. I'm just not really interested in kind of like going everywhere. I'd rather be in one place and try and grow that as much as possible. So IL, let me know down below. Guys, that's pretty much it all for the questions. If there's anything else you want me to answer before I finish, we've got like a minute or two. So, sometimes you have like a last minute rush. That'll be the thing. So let me know if there's anything else. IL has just come back in and said, yes, makes sense. Your constraining factor is OA supply, not demand. Yeah, 100%. If I had, really good supply, yeah, 100%, like absolutely 100%, but just don't have, my supply is my problem. So don't increase demand when you can't even meet the supply demand you've already got. Yeah, which I think you're saying. So yeah, really, really good thing. And again, pick your battles, keep it simple. We've got a really good system. It works. The question which I kind of ask is, we will go into wholesale. We will increase supply. But also as well, we'll also copy and paste the model into another marketplace. We're looking at Germany next year, and that's something that we want to do. So see if I can, make another like 5 figures a month next year. So I'll be quite happy. So, but we'll see how it goes. It's not going to be easy. It's just about pick your battles, take it slow, and also as well, the one thing that I really understand is I don't want to be doing this. I need to make sure that my team can do it for me. So the model we have at the moment, they can copy paste, that works. More complexity just makes more problems, and I want to keep it simple. So keep it simple, and I am stupid. Guys, that's pretty much it. Any final questions, drop them in now. But all what I will say is obviously have fun. My business is growing. I'd probably say Q4 in the UK hasn't really lifted off yet. We're going to see, hopefully, like next week or this week, it will really start to pick up. December is around the corner. Hopefully, you can see some more sales. I am back in the UK for a month on Wednesday, and there's a lot there. So like a lot of stuff happening. It's a great time of opportunity to just make sure that you're really aware of what products you need to get sold this month or next month into December and maximize the Q4 revenue. Anthony's just done a quick question. Can I do a video on how SDK? Yes, they do some good videos as well, but I'll probably do one eventually as well. I'm actually going to go meet Norm next week, I think, or this week. I'm going to meet Norm this week. So we'll have fun, talk to him, get a video recorded in person. Obviously coded depending, as long as I'm negative. But hey, right, that is it from me, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your questions. Good luck with your businesses. Q4 is here and it should be getting into full steam soon. Obviously, is there anything else I can do? Let me know, but I will join you same time next week. But this time I will be in the UK. Take care, have fun. Bye-bye.